How'd I end up with the Batmobile? So when my kids were 3 and 5, Valentine's Day got them a DVD set of the show that I watched as a kid. Watched it every day after school on rerun, the 1966 to 68 Batman TV series. And I was really inspired. Every night before bed, my kids would watch it. They'd make their own outfits using bath towels as capes, and they'd make their own masks, and they would swing at imaginary villains at the fight scenes at the end. And I was so inspired by watching that, I started thinking about, well, Batmobiles, do they exist? Can you see one? Can you touch one? And my whole game plan when I brought this car home was I was going to let the kids get dressed up, sit in the seat, put in a bad stereo, play the theme song really loud, go to Dairy Queen, get ice cream, and come back. That was the whole game plan. And so it was December of 2009, I got a completely unsolicited call from a Make-A-Wish wish granter who told me she'd been working with the Cowells and their little boy was going to be released from the University of Arizona Tucson, that he was terminal, and hospice was coming by on a very particular night. And could I bring by the Batmobile so that it would kind of soften the blow and distract everybody? And what do you say? Of course, I will absolutely be there. It took me a long time to process what I saw at the Cowells that night. And my first very vivid memory after we went into the house, you know, there's what for the most part is this very joyous scene, right? Santa Claus is there with his elf and it's Christmas carols and there's a Christmas tree and they're doing magic tricks and everybody's laughing and singing. And so as great as the moment was, in a wonderful way, it was also very sobering. And I remember my reaction at the time was kind of like, I just saw something, but I don't really know what I saw and I need a lot of time to digest it, which I did. And so we very gradually and in a very casual way would just take the Batmobile out to a particular family's house that a charity had told us about. I started integrating things like giving small gifts to the kids, giving a small check to the charity. And at this point in time, my young kids, I really kept them involved because they were, still in that, wearing their superhero outfits era. So that one or both of them would come out with me and they'd kind of be the hosts. And they'd escort the kid into the car and they'd give the check to the kid who would give the check to the charity. And it was all very homespun. And I was perfectly happy doing that. And I didn't really envision it becoming anything bigger than that. I didn't want to, I didn't want any fame or glory for myself, but I really felt it was super important that something be named after him. He's a 3-year-old kid who got dealt the worst possible hand, yet he made a huge difference. And so I asked Erica and Earl if they would allow me the privilege of naming all this after their son, and I was thrilled when they said yes. When we first built this cave, I didn't know if this idea would work. I didn't know if this was foolhardy. I didn't know if it would be helpful. I didn't know if people would just think I was crazy and stay away. I didn't know. So this was really an experiment. I've oftentimes referred to the building we're in now as Cave 1.0. Just like any technology startup, it's like you've got to prove the concept, right?
Great story. When Charles Keller was a kid in the 1960s, he was a huge fan of the campy Batman TV show. Well, now he has turned that fondness and the famous Batmobile into a vehicle for helping kids feel like superheroes. Here's NBC's Janet Shamlian.
I think the most joyful for me are people coming and in turn helping us. Some of our partners have been extraordinary. LGE, one of the most accomplished builders in this part of the world, came knocking on our door asking if they could come help on this project. Candelaria and Associates, one of the most renowned architecture firms, has given us all their work for free for 8 years. And so I think one of the things that is so special about this project is because of its incredibly fun nature, because it's so incredibly unique, we hope it has the ability to attract still other people who want to help. It's been one of the great privileges of my life to be able to put this together by hook and by crook in a dilapidated old industrial complex in South Gotham, but now it's become bigger than I am. And so we are in great need of people who are both generous, fun-loving, imaginative, and want to create something that can be a calling card for Phoenix's Giving Heart. We believe that compassion is one of the great things, not only that you can do for your life, but that will make your life better. And so I think people who ultimately decide, and we do need people to help us out, I think people who ultimately decide to become part of building the Monument to Compassion, I've lived this for 10 years. I haven't regretted a second of it. Every dollar I've spent has been worthwhile and has paid me back tenfold. I think people who join us will have the exact same experience.